Hello friends, you are watching English with D, the channel with no jargon, only useful information. In today's lesson, we are going to address the problem which most of the students face in IELTS speaking, and that is how to generate ideas and how to speak for 2 minutes in IELTS speaking. But before we begin, if you are a new viewer, then subscribe to our channel, and needless to say, like and share this video as much as possible. So let's get started. Before you start making points for the cue card in 1 minute, which you get during IELTS speaking, there are two important things which you must notice and keep in mind. The first important thing is that what is the tense of the cue card? Whether it is something from the past or something you are doing currently that is present, or is it related to something from the future? The next important thing is to notice the category of the cue card. There are broadly 5 categories of cue cards, which are person, thing, activity, place, or mixed, which means a cue card which contains more than one category mentioned above. Also, to score good bands in IELTS speaking, you must develop a set of 10 to 15 good words for each category of cue card. For that, you can watch our 9 bands vocabulary lessons. Now, we come to how to make points for any cue card. You must keep in mind that for any cue card, you have to cover 6 basic points. The first basic point is what, which means what is the main topic of your cue card. The next point is where, which means where did the thing mentioned in the cue card happen. Next is when, and as the name suggests, it means when did that thing happen. Then why and how. These are the two basic points on which you can make most of the story for your cue card. We will discuss this later in detail. And finally, whom, that is, with whom that thing happened. Now, important thing to note here is that you must write at least these 6 points during the duration of 1 minute that you get in IELTS speaking. But while speaking, the order of the points will depend on the category of the cue card. We will make it more clear in the example that we are going to solve in this lesson later. Now, in order to speak for 2 minutes, making only 6 basic points is not enough. You have to follow a certain structure and methodology. The first thing is to never start with the main topic. Always start with a general introduction. The purpose of general introduction is to set the tone for your cue card and to consume time in order to speak for 2 minutes. Then you have to learn to extend your 6 basic points. If you simply speak 1 or 2 lines on your 6 basic points, then you will not be able to speak for 2 minutes, so learning to extend these points is really important. And as we mentioned earlier, that why and how are the two basic points on which you can make most of the extra points. And finally, closing points, which would generally express your overall experience of the main topic of the cue card or something you learned and will do in future. Now let's have a look at the cue card which we are going to attempt today. As you can clearly see that the tense of the cue card is past tense and it is a mixed category cue card which consists of thing as well as a person. Now, in the 1 minute which you will get to make your points, quickly cover the 6 basic points as we have done here. Many students can execute this step perfectly, but even then cannot speak for 2 minutes, and the main reason behind this is their inability to extend these 6 basic points. In the next part of the video, you will learn how to extend these basic points so that you can speak for at least 2 minutes in IELTS speaking. As we discussed earlier, you should start with a journal introduction and not directly with your 6 main points. Go through the points given here carefully and learn that how we have started with some journal points laying the foundation for our main topic of the cue card. Now come the 6 basic points and technique to extend them. Since it is a person cue card, we can start with the whom basic point. During the 1 minute, we wrote that we made the gift for our friend Arun. But now you need to extend further from there and mention some important things or your feelings for Arun as we have done here. Then comes the next basic point, which is when did we make that thing? During the 1 minute, we mentioned that it was made during Diwali, and now it's time to extend it further. As you can see that we have started with a small line about the occasion of Diwali and then gave some arguments that what happened last year and why we decided to make something special for our friend Arun. Now comes the thing which we made for him. It was a picture of Tom Cruise. Although we had already decided on the gift, but to extend our point, we started by saying that earlier we thought of something else, but then we decided to gift a drawing of Tom Cruise by adding extra information that we like drawing, so it would be fun for us as well. Now comes the basic point why. During our 1 minute of preparation, we simply wrote that we decided to make Tom Cruise drawing because Arun is a huge fan of his. And now it's time to add extra points to this information. And you can see that easily we have added 4 extra points to this little piece of information. Where is the next point that we have covered in our list? The basic piece of information is that we prepare this at home in a study and then 3 extra points to elaborate it further. The next basic point is very important, which is how. As we mentioned earlier, that you can make maximum number of extra points on why and how. During our 1 minute preparation, we simply wrote that we prepared this with our hands. But now you will see that how many details we have added to just one single point to make our cue card sound better and longer to achieve our objective of being able to speak for 2 minutes. And finally comes the closing points, which are as important as any other part of the cue card. Just like writing, your speaking is also measured on coherence. So you have to make sure that you make a story which has a flow and makes sense. Simply talking about the topic of the cue card will not get you good bands. You have to present your cue card as a well-written story to make it more impressive. Carefully look at the points which we have written to close our cue card and observe how beautifully we have closed off the entire experience of making and gifting that picture. So guys, you should also practice and use this technique to make your speaking attempt better and most importantly, to remove your problem of lack of idea generation once and for all. After mastering this technique, you will definitely be able to speak for 2 minutes on any type of cue card. Once again, new viewers, subscribe to our channel and like and share this video as much as possible. Thanks for watching.